So why do agents fall out? Why do agents get stuck?
Why do they lose their
Why do
mojo?
92% quit in the first year? Why do some have initial success and then fall out? That's the premise of the conversation, right?
Right.
I think the first thing is that they're not following a process.
Right.
I think that's the first one. They don't know or have a system.
Yeah.
So they try a few things work. They try to duplicate that. They have limited success. The first curveball that gets thrown at them, they're derailed, and then they don't know how to find success again because the thing that they initially tried that got success, there's no pattern to it. There's no system to it. They're not following a sales presentation. They're not following a sales process, and they get derailed, and then they don't know where to go from there. They're just kind of wandering. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We have an unbelievable episode for you today. We were working through the content for this episode, and it's built around the idea of what happens when an agent either gets off to a fast start or somehow has fallen off and can no longer get back on track. They've lost their mojo. And we talked about why that happens and what you can do to fix it. It was a great conversation. Chris and Zach and I we get into a full-blown argument here on coaching, the need for coaching, what happens, mindset, process. And we went deep and hard, and there's some really, really good stuff that we shared on this episode. The content that we get to give you the reasons why people lose their mojo or fall off, and then the solutions to get back on track is in there. But we're just going to jump you right into the middle of that conversation. I don't know how Adam's going to do the edits on this one, but we're inviting you into this. This is live. It's organic. It's real. It's probably one of the best ones we've had in a while. And we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this special episode. Let's jump in. Did you see Space Jam, Troy? Zach would have figured it out on his own.
That's hilarious.
Okay, do you think you can get does somebody give you passion then?
That's different.
Does somebody give you God-given talent?
Different.
Completely different.
That has nothing to do with coaching.
Sounds like I could have been Alex Rodriguez and didn't know it.
You could have. Who
Sounds like
knows? We don't know.
That is nobody's fault.
It's your fault. You didn't put the hours in the
point
dirt
is-
in playground by
my point
yourself
is,
with no one there.
Anybody that's made it to that level, it's because of them more than anybody else.
Okay.
Nobody could argue with that. I don't think
Nobody
anybody would
argues
argue
that. I'm not
It's
arguing
not
with
even
you.
close.
I don't think
We're not arguing with you. We're agreeing.
we're agreeing with you.
it.
Work ethic.
Skill can
cannot
be taught.
It can be discovered.
Skill
Talent
can be taught.
discovered.
You cannot teach talent.
It can be
Skill can be taught.
honed too. Talent can be honed as well.
honed.
Refined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in the refining process. Is what
I
I'm
love
talking
your
about.
passion.
We should
I
make this
appreciate
thing
your
saying,
passion.
hey, here's the 5 points. Now, if you're really serious about being successful, you don't need a coach. Just go put in the work in the dirt. We'll see you on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. Watch Space Jam if you got any questions.
Watch Space Jam if you have any questions.
That's perfect.
Oh, that's
All right,
perfect.
let's
That's
do the shortest
podcast.
episode ever. I'm game. And then we can do out clips
that's
and
so
takes
good.
from this.
This is fun. This
Dude,
is
if
a
you
fun
put this
conversation.
together, this would be the best episode ever. Michael Jordan doesn't need a coach. Never needed one.
That should be
Kobe
the title
didn't either.
of this.
Did Shaq? Did Shaq? Did Shaq need a coach?
I mean, he had a coach,
Did he need one?
not to be 7'2", 300 pounds dunking on people. No, not
No, you're
really.
talking about a human body growing. Outside of that,
Again, so that's
he
a
need a
whole
basketball
different. That's a
coach?
whole different specimen.
so let's not provide
You're
coaching.
not great because of coaching. Is the point?
Let's not provide coaching. Let's just provide content.
Why are you saying that though? That's what's weird to me. Is nobody's saying that. You're saying that.
You're saying it like someone else is saying something
Yes.
different.
Yeah.
You're. It's a straw man argument.
He's saying we don't do any coaching at all. Like we should just tell everybody bye-bye. I'm not saying you don't need a coach.
You said Michael didn't need a coach.
Not to be great.
Okay, so any of the people that are on our team,
You
they
can-
don't need
you-
coaches to be great.
You could.
Are you saying the same thing?
You
The
could
key word is
be
great. That's what he's going to. I'm
But
starting to understand
listening to
his-
everything I've said, right?
Oh, I have.
You can be coached to be decent. You could be coached to be good, but you can't be coached to be great, phenomenal, best of all time. You can't be coached to be the number one.
But you
producer
can't
in
get there
insurance.
without having a good coach.
Everybody has to have a coach regardless.
Yeah. Okay.
At that level, but the coach isn't what takes you to.
But why is
great.
that an
Coach
important
Coach won't
distinction?
make you great.
Why is that an important distinction? Don't you think if you're good, you understand that already?
How many people want to be okay in insurance? How many people want to be good in insurance? Most people want to be great. They want to be the best.
I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
I think
I
they
think
want to
there's a
make a
handful that
dollar
do.
and they start
think
figuring
that-
it out and they settle
Yeah.
No,
very quickly.
I think they may never say it. I think they have it inside of their heart and their chest that they want to be the best. They want to be the greatest. I think they do. Doesn't mean they want to have the biggest team.
You don't understand mediocre people. I don't believe
Mediocre people don't survive in insurance
that. Yeah, but they're in it.
for a year.
Okay, so the distinction would be
They're still going to be gone.
The question, can you repeat his question? Because they didn't hear it off mic. What was his comment?
he said, how many of those mediocre people
Agents
could be great,
could be good agents.
could be good agents if they had good coaching?
you
proper
have
coaching.
to have coaching.
Okay.
If you're mediocre, you have to have coaching,
agree.
and it can take you good. You can be good.
And if you're good and you have great coaching, can you become great?
No, you can only be good.
If you're good and you have great coaching, you can't become great?
No,
Okay. Then let's forget it. Pack it in.
because from go to good to great or good to Hall of Fame, it's all inside of you.
That's not true.
You have
That's
to
not
have
true.
a mental coach like a Tim Grover who walks in and starts speaking differently about the way you think about how to get to the next level than doing a jump shot. Tim Grover's not teaching them how to
Michael
do a
Jordan
layup.
as a champion was
I
still
understand
He's
that.
not
still had
he's
coaching
teaching them
from
how
Tim
to
Grover.
think.
You can have an unbelievable coach. Tim Grover's probably the best mental coach for a high athlete anybody on this planet by far. I don't think anybody else would disagree because look, he has like the greatest people that's ever played. But there's a difference in Michael and Kobe, Russell Wilson, and a couple other people he coached that you don't even ever hear of.
What's Tim Grover's distinction between someone who thinks they're great and someone who acknowledges that they're great, but there's still so
Why don't
much
we
room
have
for
Pete Hamilton
improvement?
on?
He has a distinction in the levels of mindset.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I forget what those terms are. Go back to his book.
Delusional.
No, but he's people who are not at that top level think there's not much room for improvement. That they're already really really
Well,
good.
winning has a
They
cost.
speak that way. But he said the people who are truly great at that level would never say
They would
that
never-
they're at that level,
Right.
Because they always see room for improvement, and that's why they work so hard. That's why they push themselves so hard. So why do agents fall out? Why do agents get stuck?
Why did they lose their
Why do
mojo?
92% quit in the first year? Why do some have initial success and then fall out? That's the premise of the conversation, right?
Right. Yeah. So how does that happen? What are some ways that happens?
Let's jump in. What do you got?
Well, very first one is overconfidence.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Overconfidence.
Yeah. They get
Do you
overconfident.
think everybody's overconfident coming out of the gate?
That's a good question.
Man, you got me. I'm deep, man. You got me in my feelings.
I think the first thing is that they're not following a process.
Well, they don't know or have a system.
I think that's the first one. They don't
Okay.
know or have a
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
So they try a few things. A few things work. They try to duplicate that. They have limited success. The first curveball that gets thrown at them, they're derailed, and then they don't know how to find success again because the thing that they initially tried that got success, there's no pattern to it. There's no system to it. They're not following a sales presentation. They're not following a sales process, and they get derailed, and then they don't know where to go from there. They're just kind of wandering.
Well, we had said, they got lucky, or what I see, and I think you see it too, is a lot of times agents come in with enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm carries them so far, even if they're not following a process, and they may get lucky getting some applications.
It's false success is what it is.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think you got me going deep, man. But the issue, and this happens all the time, is that overconfidence. But that overconfidence is really not confident at all, because you're already feeling like you've reached a level or been there. But generally, that level is so small. If you really evaluate where you're at in the grand scheme of things, you have set the bar way too darn low to be confident at this level.
Yeah, it's funny. And usually
That's
that
a good way to
happens
say that.
when people kind of see themselves as I usually succeed. I'm usually very successful at everything I do, everywhere I go. But then when you ask them how long they've been at anything, it's usually like 18 months or less or 24 months or less at any one given endeavor. But they're always the most successful. They never associate longevity and consistency over time with success.
Yes.
They just see these flashes in the pan at I'm the best, but then you're not the best because you left that opportunity to do something else while I was trying to find something better. And they kind of see themselves as a big fish in a small pond.
They like that. You're the best. Did you ever go to picnics growing up around your town?
Well, the term picnics
It
to
means
me,
something different here.
is here than what it meant.
A carnival.
So you're talking about like a Catholic church picnic.
Could be. It could be a carnival. It could be a state fair. It could be games.
We went to a picnic when we were first invited here, and we brought like
Blew our
sandwiches
minds.
and a cooler. And we thought it was a picnic because that's what a picnic is. And we showed up, and there was a massive tent, and everyone was drinking, playing Texas Hold'em, and we didn't know what was going on.
So
true.
I'm like,
these
this
are-
is a fundraiser at a church? Wow.
I know Adam knows what I'm talking about, but these are the people that go to the booth, pay the $1, and they flip over the duck, and every duck wins. You know,
The duck.
you know what I'm saying? You flip the
Yeah.
duck, and it's got a number. Oh, look, I've won another
won
prize,
again.
man. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? You know, and that's really what it is, because you're the big fish in a small pond. But if you close your eyes and you have tunnel vision just on this, you could be the best person that is, 6'2", 180 pounds, that wears gray zip-up sweaters in the room right now. That'd be me, right? Like, you can put as many.
High five on that.
Thanks, man. You can put as many filters on your success as you want to make it seem like you've actually won. But deep down, you know inside that you're not that person. So it's almost, you're so confident that you're losing sales, but it's all due to your own insecurity.
So we have they don't know or have a system. They've gotten lucky based on their enthusiasm, which can lead to an overconfidence.
An early overconfidence.
An early overconfidence.
That is very
false
limited.
confidence. It's even so it's more of a false confidence than an overconfidence.
It's a false confidence based on what I would say premature success.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they start out with some success, and then they get a false confidence from that. But because there's no system,
Right.
and because that's not an expanded vision of what's actually possible, now you've limited yourself and you put yourself in a tough spot. So the first time something goes wrong, you don't know where to go. You're spinning. And you want to blame everything else instead of you. Right?
It becomes about the leads, the opportunity, the market,
The organization, your mentor, the contract, the carrier.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? In this situation, and we've all been through stages, even personally, but we've heard thousands of agents talk about the same thing. You notice every sale they get, nobody else would have gotten that one. And then every sale they don't get,
Nobody could have got it.
nobody else could have gotten that one.
It's the same thing.
It is. It really is. It's like you have every lead that you run, every appointment you have, it's the two extremes. And
interesting.
you have some people that produce the same week in and week out, like clockwork. I'll give a shout out to Jimmy. Like, it doesn't matter what the weather is, what day it is, what time of the year, COVID, no COVID, what color polo he's wearing. It doesn't matter. It's this, the same activity, the same days, the same numbers, the same production. It's like the sun coming up.
It's funny because we're doing this episode and we're talking about the false confidence, overconfidence that leads to blame. So this entire episode is for those people who have lost their mojo and how to get it back.
Yeah.
But it requires a level of vulnerability and teachability that most won't
acknowledge because it's never about them.
Yes.
But
We're out. See ya. Short episode.
They don't need coaching.
Yeah, they don't need it.
They're probably
They've already
thinking. They're
arrived.
probably thinking of somebody else right now on their team that needs this call. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's the beauty of it, because self-awareness is in my opinion, it's the key to growth in anything.
It's the beginning
in life.
to growth. It's the beginning to any long-term success.
Yeah, and I know we talked about we talked about Kobe. I don't know what's coming on this podcast.
Right, yeah.
But we talked about Kobe. We talked about Michael. We talked about Tiger Woods and
Russell Wilson.
Russell, we did. Yeah, we mentioned Russell. Sorry, Russell. Tom Brady. But the unique similarity in the GOATs in whatever sport is they're never satisfied. They're never overconfident in that manner.
Well, I think one of the distinguishing traits amongst those people is that because of their desire, right, to never be satisfied, because of their desire to be great, they outwork everybody. They put in the work, and they get around people who, if you're not telling me the right thing, I will get around someone who helps me think different, but I'm going to put the work in. And if you're not going to hang with me in the work, I'll find someone else who will coach me and be with me through the process because I'm going to put the work in. They outwork everybody. And I mean, I think
also thinking about this, like when agents hit this level, right? Complacency, overconfident, lose their sales, lost their mojo. It's always when they're not striving or reaching or competing for something else greater, something pulling them forward. I'll give you an example of that. I just watched a video the other day. I like watching a lot of mindset, motivational videos. I'm really big on that style.
You like to be coached by those people.
Yeah, but the toughness aspect of it,
helps
like
them
the
mentally.
mental
Mental
toughness is absolutely everything. It's everything everywhere. But I was watching a video and it was talking about Kobe Bryant, and it said he played against Michael Jordan, and it was the Lakers and the Bulls, and Michael told him, you can put on the shoes, but you'll never fill them. And they ended up losing, pretty good. And they said Kobe Bryant didn't speak to anybody at all. Nobody on the team. He thought they were all mad at him. He didn't talk to him for 2 weeks. He was in the gym, sweating, working without saying a word to anybody for 2 weeks. And the players were like, what's going on? What's wrong with him? Does he hate us? Is he okay? And Phil Jackson said, which also coached Michael Jordan, he said, no, Mike just said that, Kobe, you can put on the shoes, but you'll never fill them. And they were like, oh my gosh. And they goes, yep. And we play them again in another 2 days. Right. And Kobe came out and actually ended up scoring, I think, 52 points that game. And I don't know if they won or not. I can't remember. But they might have beat him. But Kobe put up 52, and he made it a personal challenge to do that. And my point to that is like when you lose like your mojo, like when you have that fire and that passion and that competitiveness in you, you're never going to have a bad week. And why is that though? Why is that? It's because you're always running for something. And when you're the big fish in the small pond, that's when you're susceptible to losing your mojo, losing your confidence, losing your momentum, stop hitting greater numbers, and you start talking about the success you did have instead of identifying somebody, instead of being the top person in the neighborhood, right? What about the state, the region, the country? What about no matter what line of insurance,
Some people always want to be that, though, too. They'll always want to be the big fish in a little pond.
They're trying to find little ponds to play in.
Right.
And little ponds just pop up with a good rainstorm, but then they dry up again. Right? They're called puddles.
But those people
Very true.
always have to convince people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Kobe or Michael or Tom Brady has ever had to convince anybody?
No, maybe Russell Wilson.
I think they.
Poor Russell Wilson. I just alienated all the Denver fans. We love you, Denver. We love you.
He may not be there too much longer.
Right.
I think there was probably points in their life when they didn't have the belief that they felt like others should give them, and so they had to put in the work. They had to put in the extra work when no one was watching. They had to get in the gym. They had to get on the field, and they had to keep working because they knew most of those people, like I said, once their back's against the wall, the thing that they don't do is they don't recede in their activity. They actually double down on their activity.
Yeah.
They show up earlier. They stay later. They put in more reps. They study more film. I mean, the consistency of their habits is locked in.
Yeah.
It's locked in. Yes, there's pure talent. Yeah, we also mentioned Allen Iverson. It was pure talent. He hated practicing, right?
Well,
But
we all know those producers that are like, dude, if this dude just did this or that, he would be unstoppable. There's always I could be the top producer if I wanted to guy, but they never are.
Mhm.
That's the Allen Iverson, right?
Yeah. So
Let's give him some practical stuff here.
people get sideways. What are the 2 or 3 reasons why people lose their mojo?
Overconfidence, don't know or have a system they got lucky that may have led to that overconfidence.
Some premature success
Yeah. That's probably a really
without a system.
a really big one.
Yeah.
The second one is extended time off. That they've got out of practice or a habit, and they're trying to restart or reengage. But I think you're still dealing with some of those other issues as well.
In all 3 of these, and it kind of goes back into our pre-conversation, but the difference is they've had, even if you have the enthusiasm, right? Like, I don't care if you're just enthusiastic. We can't pull somebody off the street and give them some leads and they can do it. They need to have that foundation. They need to have something there.
Coaching.
Yes.
Or they could
The
just go
coaching.
and watch Space Jam and figure it out in the dirt.
But if there, maybe we need to develop a Space Jam equivalent for life insurance. Like that would be kind of cool. And then you give them the gold leads and they glow. And
The gold leads.
we could probably do that. We need to trademark that, Adam. But inside of that, the difference is, they can sell on enthusiasm, but they're following a coaching, they're following a process. But the trick is they don't know why. They don't know why. So if they don't know why, they can't get back to that process. And when that enthusiasm falls, everything else falls.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what are some practical ways to get reengaged to correct
So
this?
what- if-
Correct this slump.
I've lost my
the
mojo.
mojo.
Now what? Now what the heck
I've
do I
lost
do?
my mojo and I can't get up,
First, you have to admit that you lost your mojo.
and that's hard.
That's you. That it's you.
That's hard.
Are you
Yeah.
telling me that it's not the leads?
It's not the leads.
It's hard
not.
for them to admit.
Yeah, it is. I think it is hard for people to admit.
It's probably the
I think
biggest-
everybody, all of us, it's hard to admit.
I think it's probably the biggest reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's an ego.
Yeah.
That's an
It is.
ego problem. That it's me.
Taylor Swift said it once.
How did she say it?
She said,
Oh,
"I'm the
boy.
problem. It's me." Right? Is that how it goes? I
I don't know.
Is that
Chris.
how it goes, Adam?
I have no.
Am I the only? All right. Well, anyway, taking responsibility.
Adam, make his head turn red and
It is.
explode.
I
in
can
the
feel it
video.
turning red.
And put a little picture of
Hi, it's me. I'm the
Tay
problem.
Tay singing beside him or something.
Oh my
right.
gosh,
I'm the problem. It's me.
That's my wife.
that's pretty good, Chris.
Are you
It's
saying
my
your
wife.
wife's the problem?
No.
What are you
That's an
saying,
edit,
Chris?
man.
That's not an edit.
That's an edit.
No edits.
No. Taylor. I'll say that Taylor Swift's my wife. Okay.
Taylor Swift is your wife?
No.
What are you
This is
saying, bro?
digressing.
This is going off a cliff.
Get your head right. That's the main piece.
Get your head right.
Get your head right. Get your head right. You have to start off with understanding that it starts with you. You have to change. And then working towards getting your mindset right about the opportunity and the leads and the work that you're doing.
Yeah, you can do that in multiple ways. Obviously, you can have motivation. You can listen to Tim Grover. You can listen to what's the dude that repeats himself and yells all the time?
Repeats himself and
He
yells all
was
the
on
time.
stage. His name just left.
From
me.
8%?
Yeah.
E.T.?
Yeah.
Eric Thomas?
Eric
Yeah.
Thomas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See how he
Yeah, I
repeats
listen to
himself
him.
and yells and just does it 7 times, and all of a sudden it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Like you can do that, but
All of a sudden, it keeps getting better.
like if you're the person that's listening to that, but that only lasts 2 to 3 days and it fades away, that's because there's an issue. There's an issue in you, right? And that needs to be fixed. That needs to be resolved. You need to have something to anchor your motivation to. You're losing the purpose. You don't have that heart piece. That's where you need to fix that.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crucial. Fixing this mindset, you can listen to the motivation, but the only person that's going to calm you down when you're freaking out about, money, income, bills, I'm not producing what I should, I'm not doing these things, is you.
Correct.
You can listen to the videos, you can do other things, but sometimes you have to go look at the history of what you've done in your life and other jobs and other careers. Sometimes you need to look at the income that you have made in insurance or as long as you've been here and average it out. What I've always found with me in those moments is I was so narrowed in and focused on my own issues on the day. I didn't get an app today. I didn't get an app to week. But look how much I did last month. Look how much I did
Correct.
this entire
Yeah.
time. And you can calm yourself down, but sometimes we just got to zoom out and relax.
That's good. I like that. And did you have something?
Yeah, it reminded me of when I was a kid. So my family's in the construction business, right? When I was growing up, my dad is a contractor. my brothers, they got in that business with them. And so we would do construction projects around town, around the province, really, where I grew up in Canada. And I went to work for my dad and brother's company when I was in high school. And of course, you're in high school one day, you're playing soccer after school, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, summer's here, and now you're working a job. Well, I wasn't working like the job where I was analyzing the blueprints and making sure that everything was done right and talking to the engineers. I was doing the labor work, right?
Yeah.
And I remember this one project where I was literally shoveling 8 hours a day, like shoveling or a pick, 8 hours a day, because we were in an area where we couldn't get any equipment in to actually do the machinery. So we had to do it by hand and to pour this footing so we could pour a wall and get this building up. And literally shovel. Woke up the next day, man, and my hands are like locked.
I bet.
Like this, locked. Arms are aching. My hands are locked. Like I can't get my hands open. My fingers won't open. I'm trying to eat breakfast and my hands are like hurting me. I'm like hurting. And my brothers are they're just laughing. They're laughing at me. You know, I'm 17 years old and they're just laughing. And there come a point where I'm just moving slow. And at one point, my brother just grabbed me by the back of my neck. Get your mind right, son. Let's go. Boom. And he just grabbed me and said, go. Here's and stuck the shovel right in my hand again. It's like, oh, everything was hurting. He's like, only thing that's going to fix that is more of the same. Bam.
More of the same.
Right back into it. You know,
Just imagine Popeye trying to eat some scrambled eggs in Canada, and he's over here, huge forearms.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like get your head, like get your head right, get your mind right, son, and it's like get back in the game, and bam, here comes. And I'm like, oh, so like it didn't matter. I had to work through the pain because the only thing that was going to fix it was more of the same, and with that
Yeah.
repetition, that would work itself out.
Yeah.
I can sit there all day.
That's really
and
good.
Yeah, but I just remember waking up for like a week and you can't open your hands for the first half an hour because your hands are doing something different that they've never done before.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you're doing this.
Yes.
It's going to
Yeah.
feel sucky sometimes. It's going to feel terrible. And until you can look in the mirror and admit, I've got a problem. And if someone doesn't come along and say, get your mind right or get back in the game, like you got to say that to yourself. You got to be willing to admit it. I think you need a good
So
coach.
what you're saying is the only solution is to do the thing you don't want to do the most.
Correct.
Touch the shovel, pick up the phone, knock a door. You know, it's crazy, but like
These are the things
production fixes a lot of issues.
It does.
Activity solves everything. But I will tell you what, without him grabbing me by the back of the neck and scaring the crap out of me in that moment, like I remember the moment.
Yeah.
Like it shocked me. Like it yelled and he hit me on the back and pulled me all at the same time. It was like,
It's like a neck slap lift
yeah, it was
at
like
the same
pick
time.
me up and come on. And I was
Get
the
your
baby
head
brother.
right.
Get your
Yeah.
head right. And here's the shovels. It's like, ow, get to work. And then he just walked off. It was like, well, crap.
Start shoveling.
Like I needed a coach in that moment.
Yeah.
Was I willing to do the work? Yes. Did I ever become a great shoveler? No. But I overcame that
Yeah.
and I learned a good work ethic along the way. But you got to have somebody that says,
Sounds
"Get your
like
mind right."
sounds like
That's
your
funny.
brother's been through that.
We have four pieces to this. One is get your head right, get your mind right. I like that. Get your mind right. Smack you in the back of the head. Put in the work. Commit to a process. Get coached and adjust. And that's all. That moment was all of that.
Yeah.
That's the
It
beauty
all
of
happened in one moment. What are the four?
It's get your mind right. Put in the work. Commit to a process. Get coached and adjust.
That's it. That's it. That's the solution.
That's it.
Yeah.
Your brother coming along, smacking you in the head, giving you the shovel, and what are you going to do? You're going to do it, and you start doing the work again. And I'm guessing late throughout the day, your hands loosened up a bit. And
Yeah. By lunch break, which was 9:30
Yeah.
for our first coffee break or whatever, you know, because
It's
you start
It
at
was-
7
it was
a.m. By
all in here.
9:30, you take a break. Like hands are working fine, and they're all laughing at me because I couldn't eat breakfast right. Everybody else, and so then I'm like, I'm not going to do that again. Now I've got the peer pressure of performance.
yeah,
And like I had to keep myself in the environment. I could have pulled myself out of the environment. No, it's too hard. It's sore. I'm going to take the day. Like that wasn't going to happen. You can't do that as the youngest of five brothers.
right.
And four of them are on the site with you, and then all their friends, and you're the
they would
baby brother.
beat you.
You're just trying to man up at that point
Yeah.
and say, I can hang.
If you notice, all your pain and struggle comes from when you're not doing anything. Always. It's always when you're stagnant. Like, you know, you can play basketball, right? You could be fine as good. Next day you're sore as heck. But really, you will be sore. But if you went and played basketball again, guess what? It would go away in the first 5 minutes. If you grab the shovel again, it goes away right away. And that's lifting weights. Like when you very first start lifting weight, that's the worst. And you're like, oh, I can't even lift my arms. But if you get down and do some push-ups, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
It's getting in the habit. And once you do that over and over again, your hands no longer hurt ever again, no matter how many hours you work. You know, you play basketball every day. You no longer get sore. Your hamstrings don't get tight anymore because you harden up, you toughen up, you strengthen up. And that's no different on the mental side of this or in insurance. If you're doing this every single day, guess what? You're not going to have anxiety about money or paying your bills. You're not going to feel the pain or have a lack of confidence because you don't know if you can do it or not. You did it the last 300 days in a row. Of course you can do it.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it anymore.
It's good.
It's so easy.
Zach, I know you recently did some coaching for this. This will be available on the website on lifeinsuranceacademy.org. Can you talk about that a little? What was it called? Back to Basics? Or
Yeah,
something like that?
we're currently in finishing up a series right now, but all of the episodes are recorded and available. All about back to the basics. So it talks about the importance of this, the importance of fundamentals, the importance of understanding the foundation. And when you think about the foundation, generally the people that have developed the training, right, or the person who John Wooden, right? Like the first thing he starts with in anything he ever does, his first practice every single year was to teach them how to tie their shoes properly.
Right.
Right. And it always gets back to the basics and fundamentals. And that's one thing, no matter if you've been in the industry 2 weeks or you haven't started yet, or you've been here 2 years, 10 years, is we all lose that and we lose focus of that. So it's understanding back to the basics, but it gives you practical tips on how to move through that and understanding a market. And in our coaching, it goes a lot more detail than we're able to talk about on the podcast because it gives you examples of understanding your market, if it's mortgage protection or final expensing, deep dive and teaching that. So if you don't know, it also teaches you what the basics are. And it moves into putting in the work. And what is the work you need to do before you can put in the actual work? Because you can't just hop out of bed, throw jeans on, and go. There's certain work you have to do before the work. It talks about the importance of following a process. Everybody wants consistent results, but nobody wants to put in consistent work to get the results. So you consistently have to do the other things if you want consistent results. So it talks about following a process or a presentation or duplication, and then that feeds right into being able to identify areas where you need improvement and refining. If you do something different every single time you're out there, you can't pinpoint areas that you can actually improve because now you have to remember a specific sit in a situation. You think about Henry Ford, right? Think about any major company in this world. Think about Amazon. They all have processes, right?
Right.
And it's simple, but it produces the best products, the most efficient, the most profitability. Everything we want out of running our own business or agency is following a process. They don't just pick one truck and pick 3 dudes and say, build it start to finish.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yes.
It's crazy. So that's our coaching series. It's been really fun. It's really interactive. I'd love to have any and all of you guys on there. If you've been a long-time listener, if you already involved in Life Insurance Academy, but you haven't get on the website in a long time, get on there, check them out, join us, be on the call, ask questions live. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoy those.
We've uploaded a lot of new content too to the back end we have a program now for unlimited all access coaching and courses. And so every week we do a live coaching call Thursday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. You can figure out when that is in your time zone. That's live interactive coaching on Zoom with us, with one of us. And once that series is over, whatever series it is, that gets uploaded to the back end of the website, so you can go back and revisit that content and utilize it. There's some great content. We've uploaded a lot. We've probably got 5 or 6 new series, coaching series that we've uploaded just in the past, 30, 60, 90 days. There's a lot of new content up there, and so we invite you to be a part of that one as well.
Very cool. So if you've lost your mojo, check out lifeinsuranceacademy.org for a deeper dive in this conversation. But we do want to give you these 4 pieces. Number 1, get your mind right. I can't say it like your brother did, but get your mind right. Put in the work. Commit to a process.
Get your mind right, son. Bam.
Get coached and adjust. Thank you guys so much for listening to us today on the Life Insurance Academy podcast. Have a good one.